What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today's video, we're going to be talking about day of the Tackle Games event. So in our previous video, we talked about all the logistics of signing up for an event, how you're going to get there, where you're going to stay, check in, and now that you're there, what your day is going to look like. So
it is time. So first thing I would suggest is if you don't get a chance to see the range the day before, the Friday before, try to get there early because parking is usually a mess. And I only say that because a lot of ranges have like parking is way over here and you got to walk to the ranges. So try to get there so that you can park at a reasonable distance. But regardless, you're going to have to walk. It just is what it is. Load up your wagon because you're going to want a wagon. You're not going to want to walk around with all your stuff. And pick your spot where you're going to camp out. A lot of people bring the canopy things and their chairs. If you don't have a canopy, don't sweat it. We have people like come to our group, all the KC crew, all the time and just hang out with us and under our shade. Ain't nobody going to tell you that you can't share their shade. So don't go out and buy a canopy if you don't have one, because somebody will let you hang out with them.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, sure.
Having that set up. You get done with your stage, you come back and just chill and hang out. And we were pretty close to the actual stages.
Yeah.
Well, distance-wise, but walking, we had to go around that stupid 4-strand barbed wire fence. Had to go down and then back around.
Yeah.
It's right there.
There've been, and there's usually, it just varies. It just depends on the range. Like ETTS wasn't terrible, but it was kind of hard to get parked correctly because there was only a limited amount of space. Then I've been at like Brownells. Is the parking is far away, but once you get down there, there's a really nice area for you to set up canopies and stuff. So the parking is a long ways away, but after you get down there, you're pretty much set. So, and then another reason that I specifically have to get there early a lot of times is because I'm called upon to sing the national anthem occasionally. You want to get there early enough because they have been asking other people to participate in that activity. So you want to get there early enough, do somebody who's talented justice and listen to them and hear they're talented, because not all, we're not just about fitness and firearms. Some of us have some other weird talents and hobbies.
You did awesome.
Oh, thank you.
It was really good.
And then of course the safety brief, and you get put into your lane assignment. What am I thinking?
Squad.
Yeah, you get put in your squad. Sometimes they will assign you a squad and a lane. Sometimes they'll say, here's the ones, get in that lane, get in that line, and then you'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has varied depending on how they're feeling that day.
With squatting. So how the numbers work, which I learned, and because on the way down, Rabbit and JTO were like, yeah, you're in this squad. I'm like, how do you know this? And they're like, well, this number, this number, this number. I'm like, okay. So how the numbering works is, my number was 173. So I was squad 17, position 3.
Lane 3.
The
whole time.
The whole time. So whenever, at first, whenever they release everybody and say, all right, squads 17, 18, 19, you're at stage 1. So those 3 squads go to stage 1. And then I was number 3, so my position was lane 3, and you stay that number throughout the entire event.
So you will get sent an email. They have been sending them out earlier in the week, but at the very latest by Friday evening, with the schedule and the squad assignments and actually the stages as well, stage descriptions as well. So I don't. My squad is usually either between one and it's either the single digits because I'm in a different division. So I will usually always start out at stage 1, which sometimes works out because it's usually the longer movement, and then I get that out of the way first, so it's good.
Weren't you squad
I was
one,
number
lane
1 at nationals, yeah, which meant I knew where I was supposed to be. So it can be confusing. I would imagine it would get more confusing the higher your number is. So thankfully, I'm at a lower number. I don't have to think as much. But you will get sent an email the night before. They used to put that stuff on Facebook, which was kind of a pain because I didn't have Facebook when I first started doing this. So I was like, everybody had this information that I didn't have. I was like, what the heck is going on? But you will get sent an email. Make sure you have your email, your phone with you, especially that Friday, because that's when they'll send out that information. Yep. It's not, and it's like an Excel spreadsheet. It's really not that complicated once you figure out which squad you're in. So then you've got your lane assignment, your squad. They'll tell you, usually right after the safety brief, they'll say squads 1 through 10 go to get your battle brief at stage 1. You'll note there's signs where the stages are. So you'll wander over there to stage 1 and you'll get your battle brief from your range officer, your battle, or they used to call them battle, sorry, your stage brief. And they will, at that time, they will answer any and all questions, usually multiple times because people will not be paying attention or they will come up late and they'll be like, ask the question that's been asked 5 times. But they don't want you to walk away from that stage brief having any questions because you are, especially in my division, expected to remember everything without being told on the firing line. So you need to have, whether you write that stuff on your arm, have one of those battle boards that I've seen some people running, pay attention to those stage briefs, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Not gonna poke too much fun, but after my squad was the 50 plus, and I don't know, there can be too many questions asked.
Absolutely, there can be. And I know who you're talking about in that age group, actually, because we've made fun of him multiple times, and he knows it. At
one point, I caught on to it, and after a while, I was like, they gave the stage brief. I was like, okay, I'm done. There is nothing else that is going to come. Nobody is going to ask any questions afterwards that I'm going to need to hear.
Feel free to walk away.
I walked away.
Yeah.
But what's nice with the stages at nationals, I don't know if they do this for regionals, is they have the stage description printed out on a big whiteboard right there by the stage. So
they have been doing that. It does kind of depend on the range and the weather, honestly, too. So, but yes, especially with the 2-gun stage, just because it's usually harder to do a stage brief with those. But they've been printing them out, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's the same thing that you're getting to your email, but sometimes you have a brain fart or you don't have signal on your phone and you want to see it one more time before you run it. Yeah. So those have been really helpful. They're really, they're looking for ways to improve and to make things clearer for people because it is confusing and overwhelming for a first-time competitor,
definitely.
For sure. There's all these people who you get squatted, especially somebody coming into elite. Like, it's clear when you get into that division that people have been doing this like a lot, so they know what they're doing. So if you're a new person in that division, we're not going to be mad at you if you ask questions. We're absolutely not going to be upset. Like I said, if you're done asking questions and you understand the stage, you can walk away. It's not a big deal. You're not going to offend anybody.
Yeah, it can be a little overwhelming, especially coming in it brand new, and your first one is nationals, and 3 days of I don't know I'm supposed to be here and pick up heavy stuff and shoot, but
I don't know in what order.
What do I do?
I think I point my gun that way. Yeah. So once you've done your stage brief, make sure that you're aware of what time it is. They'll usually say, "Hey, we're going to start rolling with group 1 in 15 minutes. Be here on time." So I would highly suggest you wear a watch. all day. Keep an eye on it. Make sure that you're staying up on things, and be aware that some stages are going to run longer than others. So they will be behind at some point on some stage. It just is what it is. Just try to wander over there at some time and get an idea of where they're at, and then you can go back in the shade. So you're up, you run your stage, and then you go back, cool off. Generally, you're going to have a lot of downtime. So it's a lot of hurry up and wait. Don't get frustrated. It just is what it is. Like, there's a lot of competitors. Let them go out there and do their thing. Rest and then go back and watch them and cheer people on. Yep. Cheer people on. You don't know. It doesn't matter. Like, I love watching the next group. The good thing is that you get to watch the next group from the firing line because you're the judge, the athlete judge for that firing line. So I'm always trying to make those people smile or say things like, "Why do we keep signing up for these? This is so dumb. This is stupid." That's my goal, is to kind of make them laugh and forget about that they're in so much pain and that we spent money for this. So, but yeah, take your rest. Get your food in you and hydrate, but then go back and watch the other athletes. That's super important for this competition.
Yeah, I did that. Pretty much every stage would bring my gear back, because at nationals it was 2 to 2.5 hour break in between your stages, so you had plenty of time. Take your gear back, get some food, hydrate, and then just wander about. You meet a bunch of new people and companies that are out there, and you get to go watch the next stage and stand there like, "Oh, that's a good idea."
Yeah.
"Oh, don't do that."
Yeah. So if you're the first group that goes, like I was, you don't get a whole lot of time to think about, "Oh, well, maybe I could do what he or she is doing." But it's so important that we support each other. Yep. Even if you're directly in that division against that person going head to head, we're all just out there to have fun. This is nobody's job. This is not like life or death. So just go out and support other people.
Oh yeah, everybody was cheering for everybody, and was really cool is there at nationals was you had your different ranges, and then there was a steel, I guess not barricade, but half wall.
Oh, it was like a pipe. Yeah, it was kind
steel
of like
pipe. Half wall is like a couple of feet off the ground, but all the stages were on this side of it. But all the spectators or athletes could hang out on this side, and it was just lawn chairs for all the stages and people cheering you on that you had never met them before, and so that was really cool.
This was kind of vague. Hopefully not too vague, but you get there. Pay attention to the time. Be aware that you got at least one email, probably 2, with links to spreadsheets the night before. Take a look at those battle descriptions the night before. Even if you have questions, at least try to retain some of that information for going into the next day, and just be on time. Because I've never seen them start a stage without somebody, but I would hate to see that happen. You spent a lot of money to compete in this, not just with the entry fee, but with all the equipment. So just be aware of time and ask questions when you can, because there's not trade secrets here, and nobody's going to say no to you and not answer your questions. So
yep,
cool.
So and then usually there's 4.
It has varied. They have been running 4 stages on the first day. I don't know.
Usually 8.
Yeah,
usually
there used to be only 6 stages total. Used to be 3 on the first day and 3 on the second day. Now they've added in these floaters, which are kind of becoming stages in and of themselves. So it ends up being almost 8 stages total for the whole weekend. So I'm not sure what their plan is this year, but I would expect 4 stages on the first day and possibly 4 on the next day, but it's possible it could only just be 3. But they have been running 4 stages in 2023. They were running 4 stages on Saturday in an effort to make Sunday a little bit shorter, I think, so that they could get people out of there, because people are flying in and then go to work. Yeah, so I think that was their goal. But what has kind of ended up happening is that there's 4 stages on Sunday too. So you'll expect 4 stages on Saturday and at least 3 on Sunday. So Yeah.
So yeah, you do 3 to 4 stages in the day, and then at the end of day 1, everybody just kind of packs up their stuff and then heads back to their hotel or their Airbnbs and
Wanders
relax.
away like
and-
zombies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Contemplating life decisions. And why
Right.
did I do this? And
Yep.
we're back at it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But everybody shows back up next morning. All
Theoretically speaking.
yeah.
There have been times where people don't show up the next day, which is fine, but we don't want to talk about that because everybody's going to show back up the next
That's right. And then you do it for a second day, and if you're at nationals, you do it for 3 days.
Yeah.
So, but all right, guys, hope this helps.
Yeah.
Especially if you're just getting into tackle games. So we'll catch you on the next one.
Hit us up with questions if you have any.